Hello, Flosstube. My name's Rachel, and I'm the Enchanted Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram. I want to thank you for joining me today. Today is my first Flosstube video, so please excuse any ums, or pauses that I may have. This video has been attempted to be made several times, but after going to 2 retreats this year so far, my 2 first retreats, and talking with Jenny McStitcher and KraftnKris, I've decided to film my own Flosstube. So I hope you like what you see. This is a channel about cross-stitch. I may talk a little bit about other crafts or knitting along the way. I am a multi-crafter, so my attention does flit from project to project. And I do have, I wouldn't say a crazy amount of whips, but I have a few. But I do have some focus pieces that I'm going to share today, just with some of my goals this year. I'll also talk about Stitch North 2022 a little bit, as well as one of the retreats that I've been. I am located in Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto, in a small city. And I'm married, I have a child, and I work in healthcare. So thanks so much again for joining me today, and I'll get right into it. So I'll start with my whips, because it's probably what people are most interested in seeing. So my first project is by Brenda Gervais, and it's Winter Rose Manor, which is a lovely traditional sampler piece. And I'm currently doing it for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and I'm really hoping to have it finished and framed in time for November 4th. So wish me luck. It may or may not happen. I have completed the border. I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap because it was a bit of a pain to get it straight in again. But this is my progress so far. So I have completed the entire border, and I'm just starting on the snow at the base of the pattern. So I am right here. I haven't filled in that pine tree at the bottom yet. So that's my progress so far on that one. It's been a really fun stitch. I'm doing it 1/1 with the called for threads, the overdyes, on a 36 count vintage Country Mocha. My next project that I would like to work on soon is Fantasy Triptych by Teresa Wentzler. I'm a huge Teresa Wentzler fan, and this is actually the project that got me into stitching. This is my 3rd time trying to stitch this project. The other 2 unfortunately met with untimely ends, one at the talons of a cat, the second to an unfortunate Pepsi spill, and the piece couldn't be salvaged. I tried multiple ways of doing stain remover, and it just didn't happen, unfortunately. So this is my progress so far on Fantasy Triptych by Teresa Wentzler. I'll try and pull it a bit so you can see. So I have the maiden panel completely done, the border mostly done except for the beading and the back stitching, and the middle castle panel, I'm almost done the foreground and starting on the castle portion. So that is just kind of where I am. And the maiden panel is completely stitched and the back stitch is done, including her very tiny 1/1 face. Now, this fabric is very old. I don't actually know what it is. It is some sort of even weave. I believe it is a 28 count of some sort. I got it years and years and years ago when I first started stitching. So I'm not exactly sure what it is exactly. It is a Zweigart because it has, again, that orange thread in the selvage, but I'm not sure what it is. It could be a Brittany, I think, possibly, but it is an even weave of some sort. But it's too even to be a linen, for sure. There's no slubs or anything in it. Second piece I'll share with you today is my Mira piece that I have on the go. Oh, and the Fantasy Triptych is done on an antique white, 28 count, I think. But like I was saying, I'm not exactly sure. My next piece is my mirror that I'm currently working on, and it is the Dreamer. So it's a very large piece of fabric. So I'm starting at the bottom of the design. As you can see, I've started with the border and the bottom of her dress with the folds. So I will pull the pattern out so you can see the picture. So I've done both corners, the folds of the ribbon or parts of her dress, or this blanket that's kind of here. And I just love this piece. It's very fantastical, very fantasy driven. I just love the Art Deco influences in this piece, as well as that kind of whimsical fantasy subject matter. So I also have a plan to do a small conversion on this piece. I will be changing the color of her skin. I think that there's a lot of designers out there, and I think a lot of stitchers that have started to be more inclusive and making those alterations. Unfortunately, there haven't been too many, a lot, especially older mirrors. They're mainly white women, and I will be changing the color of her skin. I haven't started to do any of that matching yet. Probably will be one of the last things I do, and I do plan to stitch her skin 1/1. And then the last piece that I do want to do some work on is my HAED. So I do have a HAED. You're probably going to notice a theme with most of my stitching projects, except the Brenda Gervais, is that I do like fantasy and whimsical kind of designs, hence the Enchanted Stitcher. But this is an Aimee Stewart by HAED, and it is the Once Upon a Time, I believe. But it's that giant fantasy themed bookshelf. So I think I'm at 1.5%, maybe slightly over. I just have the top left corner of the first panel. I'm doing a combination of parking and cross country. I'm not... I can't do straight parking. I find it too confusing, even with, I do use Pattern Keeper for a lot of my bigger designs. Unfortunately, for Teresa Wentzler's, they're not compatible with Patterns Online, where you can still buy some of her patterns, except for the dragons, unfortunately, which is very sad. But yeah, those are the kind of the whips that I want to focus on currently. So that is kind of my focus for the next little bit. I'll probably talk about Stitch North for a little bit. I also went to a small retreat run by Jenny McStitcher at the beginning of March, which was absolutely wonderful and was really one of my first times stitching with people real in life. I had done some kind of Zoom stitching before, but I'm mainly a self-taught stitcher, and I've never really had that community around me when I stitch, and there's nothing that really compares to stitching with people and forming those friendships and relationships. And I'm kind of hooked on the retreat scene, because I really had a fabulous time at both my retreats this year. Jenny's was wonderfully run, and it was at a small event center near Kitchener that I believe is nonprofit run by an Amish community or Mennonite community. It's called Hidden Acres, and we're called the Hidden Stitchers as a result. But it was a wonderful weekend, just lovely people, lovely atmosphere, and the food was absolutely amazing. We have another one scheduled for the fall, which I believe is full, unfortunately, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's going to be here sooner than I can possibly think, just because the summer tends to just fly by so quickly. But Stitch North was amazing. It was a much bigger event. It was a little overwhelming, to be honest. I'm a little bit of an introvert, so this process, along with that retreat experience of the larger retreat, was quite overwhelming at times, just with the amount of people, especially post or kind of mid-pandemic, of not going anywhere or doing anything for 2 years. Seeing that many excited, happy stitchers in one place was a little bit overwhelming for me. There was a lot of really great people there. I wish I had actually gone up and introduced myself a little bit more, especially to people like Trixie Tricycle, who was there from the States, Ellen, Reid, Maximum Cross-Stitch Power Hour, who I absolutely adore, and then Ryry McGuy, who kindly enough wandered around the room and engaged with me while I babbled at him for a few minutes. So that was very kind of him. He was absolutely lovely to talk to and a lovely person. And I enjoy his channel as well, as in addition to Ellen and Trixie Tricycles and Jodi from Trixie Tricycle. So that was really, really, really neat. The package that they gave us was absolutely incredible. Evertotes gave us these lovely bags, which I'm sure, I think Ryan, I know for sure, showed it. I'm sure other people have shown it as well, but it's just extremely well made. And it's different from a lot of the bags that I've had previously or that I've made myself. Just the padding in it makes it very lovely to touch and to hold. It's quite nice in a tactile sense. And it's beautifully made. I love the zipper style on it as well, from that top open. Most of mine are front open or vinyl front bag, which is really great as well. Along with that, they gave us thread for the freebie design from Evertotes, so 2 colors of Leo and Roxy. Ryan, I believe, did the finishing, and Ellen stitched the model, if I'm correct. And it's a really cute design. I can't show you a picture of it, but because all I have is the chart, and I'm not going to show the chart on Flosstube. We also received a needle miner from Rocky Mountain Needle Miners, which is very lovely. A corner gauge from Pastime Pieces, as well as a pin with some trinkets, and it's really quite cute. A needle minder for Stitch North itself. And this lovely magazine from Embroidery Canada, which was very, very beautiful. It has some lovely designs in it and just some really great inspiration. I mean, if you look at that, it's just the colors on that are just gorgeous. So really, really lovely magazine there. Oh, and we also received a small kit from Brin and Needle. From out east. It was another great store. I did a lot more shopping than I thought I would, actually, which brings me to the next section of this Flosstube video, which is haul. So being at the retreat, I did spend a little bit of money, and I also won something at the retreat too, which I'll show at the end too. But haul from Brin and Needle, I purchased these 2 lovely colors of floss. There's actually quite a bit of a theme to the floss that I picked out. I did this unconsciously. But this is this lovely variegated pink. It's showing up a bit brighter than it actually is in person. And it's called Gift of Gab. And it's just this beautiful variegated pinky purple. And then this is Spiled Rotten from Brin and Needle as well. And it's showing up mostly true to color. It's a variegated purple. It's maybe a little bit brighter on camera, but it's very beautiful as well. And I also picked up Quirky Quakers Mythical Creatures, and this is from Darling and Whimsy Designs as well. So this is my first Darling and Whimsy, the Quirky Quakers series. I really have plans to do the unicorn. I'll probably do the Nessie and the Sasquatch or Yeti as well. Leo and Roxy, I picked up the other Stitch North needle minder for the event, which is done in enamel. And good size needle minder. Magnet's quite strong. So that'll be really lovely to have as a memento of the retreat. Leo and Roxy floss. I haven't worked with it yet, but it's the color saturation on it is just beautiful. Again, there's a bit of a theme with the floss that I brought. Is mostly reds and purples and pinks. So this is Bright Merlot. It's a little bit darker in real life. Lucille, which I love this red. It's quite a nice bright red. It's showing up a bit brighter on the camera than it is. This is 11 points. Again, another beautiful red color. Now just some darker kind of purpley reds. This is Vixen, which I know has been shown on Flosstube before, but I just love this color in person. I don't think the camera's doing quite the justice that it should, because it's quite a saturated, deep color, and it's quite beautiful. And then this is Hussy, again, which I believe has been shown on Flosstube. It's showing up brighter on camera than it is in real life. I also got some fabric from Leo and Roxy. It feels great. I can't wait to work on it. I probably will do a blackbird or some sort of sampler on it. But this is 36 count peanut brittle, and I just got a fat quarter. But it's this beautiful brown color, and it's showing up quite true on camera. So it's, I'm gotta find the perfect project for that. To use this, because it feels amazing. I think it's a good balance between stiffness, but it's not too stiff and it's not too floppy. So I think it'll be really nice to work on. As well as from Pastime Pieces, I believe was the store there. I bought 2 of the new releases from Market. I got this Brenda Gervais Seasons of the Heart. I know it's more traditional than a lot of my other stitching, but I do enjoy Brenda Gervais. A lot of it is, especially the mice, are quite whimsical and lovely. And I just need some more smaller projects in my life. I have a lot of like really big, or BAPs, big ass projects, as people refer them to. And I think that doing something like this, doing a small series or doing them for an exchange at a retreat would be really nice. However, being Canadian, the summer one I will have to alter because I know a lot of you wonderful Americans out there enjoy your American flags. However, I will be changing it, and I just don't find Canadian flags translate as well in these pieces. So I'll probably just add some more flowers and just take this big flag out and extend the border over, hopefully. So I'll have to play with that and rechart it a little bit just to suit my tastes. But I do love the rest of them, especially the colors in spring. That's so charming. I really enjoy that. Next one is A Heart Remembers by Blackbird Designs. I am now a subscriber to Brenda and Laura's, and you buy all the Blackbirds because there's so many of them that I absolutely love. And I think it's really great for some of us that are just discovering Blackbird, that they've reprinted a lot of the older patterns, and you're able to get them. So it's an absolutely gorgeous book, really well put together. The finishing instructions are very nice. I find Blackbirds are quite meditative to stitch for the most part. They're just charming and sweet, and I love them so. I also belong to the Under the Sea Fabric of the Month Club, run by Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics. Because I am an international subscriber, I get her to group my colors of the month together, so I save on shipping a little bit. Oh, but one thing first, I just want to show you what I won at the treat, which was just absolutely lovely. So this was from Calado at Stitchtoolbox, which was just it was such a lovely, lovely gift. So I won this beautiful project bag. It did come with a pattern. The pattern wasn't to my taste necessarily, so I gave it to one of my table mates that goes to the other small retreat, the Hidden Stitchers retreat that I do. And it's going to be like kind of a traveling pattern sisterhood of the traveling pants sort of deal. And we're all going to pass it around, and maybe I'll stitch one motif from it. But it was the Twin Peak Primitives April kind of sampler of the month pattern. It was very small. There was bunnies, spring themed. It was lovely, just not quite my style. I do tend to like a little bit more whimsicality with my samplers, and that was quite traditional for me. But this bag is this beautiful yellow color, and it's just got this charming floral print on the inside. And as per usual, her bags are just immaculately made. Very beautiful. There's a needle minder, some floss drops, a bookmark, and a skein of DMC 778 included in it, which was just a lovely gift, and I was so grateful to have won it, because I have bought her bags before and they're just wonderfully made. Okay, so fabric of the month from Under the Sea Fabrics. I probably should have debagged these beforehand, so my apologies for the crinkle. But the first one is Neptune, and I get 32 count linen normally. It's just my happy place on where to stitch. And it's just this gorgeous blue. Be great for a mermaid or a summer piece. Probably perfect for the latest Frosted Pumpkin Mystery Stitch Along for the Under the Sea theme. But I love Leslie's fabric. They aren't color fast though, so that is the one thing that you have to be cognizant of. But her use of color is second to none. The next one, sorry again, crinkle, is Eudor, I believe. Again, this is 28 count linen that I got this time. And it is this kind of really bright, dramatic green. It's actually quite a bit brighter in life than it's showing up on camera, with these kind of chartreuse tones to it. I'm thinking maybe Halloween or a spring piece, but it's quite outside of my normal fabric selection. I do tend towards more blues, purples, and neutrals, so have to find something neat to go on that. And then the last one that I got in this shipment, sorry, crinkle again, is Ceres, I believe. And it is this lovely neutral. Leslie unfortunately did not have linen in my preferred count, so this is a 32 count Lugana, and this would be a beautiful sampler color. It's showing up pretty true. It may be a little bit more brown in person than gray as it's coming across, but it's a very, very pretty fabric. Would be great for a more primitive style sampler. And again, these are all fat quarters. Alrighty, I think that's about it. Oh, I have one more thing. I have one more thing for you. There were also some free patterns as well from Stitch North. There was a nice little tiny Modernist pattern, which I'll see if I can reach. Excuse me. Follow Your Heart, Sweet Sayings. It's very cute with the swan and the flowers. So that was part of the Stitch North pile. Sorry, this is a little discombobulated. I'll do better piles next time. My apologies if there is a next time. And then I have one more thing, and that was a finish. So when I was at Stitch North, I was determined to finish my current focus piece, which was by Tiny Modernist, because the designer with Cheryl from Tiny Modernist was there. So I did finish, and I was able to get a picture with her and my finish. So I was extremely happy. So for those of you that may have attended Stitch North, you might have seen me working on this, or when I went up to bang the drum for my finish. So I'll try to just go through it slowly. It's on a hand-dyed fabric by Dyeing for Crossstich, Kathy Davidson from Dyeing for Crossstich. And I actually found the fabric before I found the pattern. And once I saw the pattern, I knew that it had to go on this fabric. I just bought it on like an auction as a whim, just because I love the fabric so much. And I had kind of a Halloween piece in mind, but then I saw this pattern. I was like, oh, it has to go on this pattern, on this fabric. So I'm just going to slowly move it up the screen so you can kind of see. My favorite part is probably that moon. I absolutely loved stitching that moon. It's not iron, so my apologies. But this is Haunted Mansion by Tiny Modernist. And that's it. So I'll have to take this to get it framed. I'll have to give it a little bit of a press and then send it off for framing. So that is about it. Like I said, I had an amazing time at Stitch North. It was really great to stitch with other people. It was really nice to meet other people. Carolyn and the Evertotes group did an amazing job of running the retreat. It was really well done, from the pizza party on Friday night to Sunday morning when everything's over. So, excuse me. So that's about it. I did sign up for Stitch North next year. So I will be going maybe as a floss tuber this time if this happens to take off. So we're at about 26 minutes. So I want to thank you for staying with me, and sorry, my alarm popped up. So thanks for stopping in, listening to me blabber along about my cross-stitch stuff, and listening to me say a lot of times. Hopefully that'll get better as I continue on. My updates will probably be somewhat irregular. My work schedule is somewhat irregular, and I'm a parent of a small child, so that does kind of play into the schedule for taping. But if you want to either give me some suggestions on how to improve, what you'd like to see more of, I'd greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time. And I hope you take care and stay safe and stay well. And thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.